You've survived another week. Thank you for listening, downloading, and supporting the Black Man with a Gun Show. This is episode number 585. And this week, did you know that Maryland institutes a new gun law? 3 new ones, actually. Started October 1st. Don't talk about that. Michael J. Woodland and I wax poetic about the military and talk about plate carriers, first aid kits that you can buy locally, and just being fit as a concealed carry and a pro-gun person. And I'm calling this episode, Don't Be Fooled by the Red Flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You might not know it, but I've been podcasting for a minute. And to make sure that I don't bore myself, I try different stuff almost every week. So every episode is a little bit different. I try to just mix some stuff up, try new things. Sometimes it bombs. And I don't mind if you tell me that you didn't like this or that part sucks. Or that's okay, Ken. Feedback is always appreciated. As long as it's constructive feedback. You know, we got some trolls growing out there. Not in this audience, but sometimes they peep in here. You know what I'm saying. You been shooting? I got to shoot more with my long guns. My rifle stuff is off the chart bad, and I'll talk about that in a minute. If you need some ammo, use my link at ammo.com/blackmanwithagun, and you can save $20 off your $200 order. And this also helps support the show. That's ammo.com/blackmanwithagun. Are you doing all right? I know this is It's the last half of the season now. We're getting down to the wire. 2018 is winding down. What you got planned for the rest of the year? October, November, and December. I'm going to actually try some hunting. I think, let me explain. I live about 10 miles outside of Washington, D.C., in a rural pocket of the suburbs. I got deer that live in my yard. They're there every night when I come home. They're in the morning when I leave. I have seen the back of a coyote looking for food that my dog had left. I've actually had foxes in the backyard in the front. A raccoon who has been sitting on my trash can, giving me the finger every once in a while. And I got a groundhog. Who digs ginormous holes under my fence that when we get a dog again, can't stay. So it's been a war with me and this groundhog, this woodchuck, this thing about the size of a bathroom throw rug. He's huge. He's fast. I was sitting on the front porch smoking a cigar one day, and I saw this thing run across the street, up the hill, and it would outrun most of the old people in my neighborhood. It was moving. I didn't know woodchucks ran that fast. Well, I bought a 17 HMR bull barrel Marlin rifle with a 3x what scope on that thing? Maybe 40. It's nice, but I haven't scoped it in. I haven't sighted it in. It's still a little raw. The 17 caliber is smaller than the 22. It's a varmint gun per se, and I use it to get rid of rats and rabid animals and foxes and stuff like that happen to be too close to people, too close to me. Well, this groundhog has got to go. The first time I saw it, I got my hearing protection on, opened the door, and it was gone like a shot. That thing has the best eyesight and ears of anything around the neighborhood. I didn't know that. So the second time I got a chance to see it in the backyard, I was like, all right, I'm going to go out the front. I got it, locked and loaded, hearing protection on, shooting glasses on, snuck out the front door, went around to the back. It was in the backyard, munching on grass and doing whatever it does back there. Safety off. Put it up to my eye. Pull off a shot. Miss. It hauled tail back under the shed and has been laughing at me ever since. I feel like that dude on Caddyshack with the gopher. Well, I saw it again yesterday in the backyard. This time I was going to go out the back door directly. I touched the key and it was gone. Didn't even get a chance to open the door. But it's on. I'll let you know when I get it. Hey, don't be fooled by the red flag. You know, a red flag is a warning of danger or problem. Like, they had overlooked the red flags that should have been alerted them to the county's disastrous investment strategy, or a red flag as a symbol of a socialist revolution. You know, October 1st, 2018 is when 3 new gun laws went into effect in my state, in the state of Maryland. Maryland law allows a district court judge in the short and long term to issue orders temporarily prohibiting someone from possessing or purchasing weapons and ammunition if there's evidence that the person poses a danger by having a firearm. A final order lasts up to a year, but a gun owner must have an opportunity to respond at a hearing. Maryland's red flag law is what I'm talking about, and it's broader than every state anywhere else in terms of who can petition for an order. The change is so significant that there's a police department here called Anne Arundel County. They decided to expand their storage space, in part because of the number of firearms they anticipate taking in and temporarily storing as a result of this new law. And that's straight from the county chief. The law requires a person being served to surrender the firearms to law enforcement. It's a gun grab. If they refuse, law enforcement gets a search warrant, seizes the weapons, and arrests the respondent on a misdemeanor charge. Maryland's red flag law is one of 11 such laws in the country, most of which passed this year following the mass shootings in Parkland, Florida. Additionally, Connecticut and Indiana have more limited firearms removal orders. Our governor, Larry Hogan, signed that Maryland legislation into law back in April. While most states allow family or household members in law enforcement to seek an order, certain healthcare workers and mental health care providers are also eligible under Maryland's law. Plainly, a person who is dangerous or, quote, poses an immediate or present danger, but who does not possess guns is not covered by this bill. So, gun owners are the new suspect class in the law, except that they are a targeted class rather than a class protected under the 14th Amendment, according to what the president of the Maryland Shall Issue says. Cool group there. revolution.singular. What are the other 2 laws? The bump stock thing, and if you're convicted of a domestic violence, you have to surrender your guns just right off the bat. It sounds good though, doesn't it? If you're not a gun owner, if you're afraid of firearms. But the potential for tragedy is obvious. What if a heavily armed SWAT team shows up without warning or notice on the doorsteps of a gun owner that you know with ex parte seizure orders in hand? Yeah. Anybody who has a problem with you can get your gun seized. It's like having the scarlet G on your chest. Is that too over the top for you? Okay. If somebody says that you pose a risk to yourself or to others, they can allow family members and law enforcement to ask a judge to temporarily confiscate your firearms. That's what it is in Maryland. And 13 other places in the U.S. of A. revolution.singular. It's an all-volunteer, nonpartisan organization dedicated to the preservation and advancement of gun owners' rights in Maryland. It seeks to educate the community about the right of self-protection, the safe handling of firearms, and the responsibility that goes with carrying a firearm in public. revolution.singular. This is the group, your group, the grassroots group in the state of Maryland. Join us, no matter where you are, revolution.singular. All right, this first week of October, I am celebrating being a veteran, actually. I know Veteran Day is coming up, also the Marine Corps birthday next month. But I remember this is the time when I left home at the age of 17, just turned 18, and jumped in the car with the recruiter. And my mother was running down the street hollering, "Don't take my baby. He has allergies." It was so embarrassing. Everybody just knew that I wasn't going to make it because I was allergic to everything back in the day. And I had to prove to my family that I was man enough to go off into the military. So I picked the Marines to prove everybody that I wasn't a weakling, that I was going to be all right. And my mom's yelling down the street, "He's got allergies." Wasn't the most shiniest moment of my life, but it was okay because I graduated in December and had my stripe as a private first class. We're going to talk a lot about military coming up. Michael and I, he's an Army veteran, retired Army, and going to do a little follow-up about fitness, about first aid, and about those chest protectors, those carriers that everybody wears. And is up next. Michael, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. Just ready to get back out to the range, finish up this part 2 of the Raptor variable optic that I did a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Primary Arms, they sent me another optic that's 1 power. So I'm going to go out there here in about another day or 2 and finish up the recordings for that.
Oh, nice. Man, I got a question for you this week. Plan to do some shooting at an outdoor range up in Vermont, probably in a month or 2. And the guy's like, "Bring your ammo, bring your AR, bring blah, blah, blah." And it's going to be kind of a bonding thing. And he said, "Bring your vest, bring your carrier vest for your AR." I never had one, never had one in the military, never owned one. What is your suggestion for one if I need it actually to carry extra magazines for this thing?
You can go ahead and just get a regular plate carrier. And then on the front of it, you know how you got like the MOLLE attachments with the magazine attachments?
Mm-hmm.
You can go to pretty much anybody, like Haley Strategic. They make a good one, chest rig that holds like it's a 3 front, but the 3 it's like a double, so you can actually carry 6. Because combat load is 7 magazines, 210 rounds. Someplace else you can go is High Speed Gear. They make MOLLE attachments for the different plate carriers as well. Right off the top of my head.
See, that's a new thing. I feel like a poser wearing that thing because we had just the Durgon belt with a whole bunch of crap hanging off of it, just one. So when I see the new stuff and I see guys on Instagram that I know didn't serve in the military, but they got like MOLLE stuff and they got the mags hanging off and a cross draw holster. And I'm thinking, it do look snazzy, but is that like bogus? Is that just,
Well, I could tell you this. For me, I'm totally against wearing a plate carrier. And the only reason... I'm saying, yeah, the only reason being is when I was over in Iraq and Afghanistan, you got to remember, like, they had us carrying so much stuff. And when we tried to take something off, it was trouble. It was like, no, keep everything on there. So think about doing a patrol every day for so many hours and all that weight. You actually feel like your spine is compressing against each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you give me the option, I'll be like, I don't care how light the plate is. I don't want nothing on me. I'd rather have my magazines on my belt. I'll figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah, the old school way, we had this green belt and it had magazine holster. I mean, hangers on it. I mean, it wasn't that many. We probably had 2 magazines for our AR. That was it. Well, and it wasn't even an AR. It was M16A1. That's how old I am, dude.
well, let me well, if you just want a magazine rig,
yeah.
If you go to HaleyStrategic.com.
Okay.
Now, I don't know Travis Haley at all. Never met him. Never spoke with him. But he actually has that magazine rig that you can just wear on your chest. But it's not a MOLLE. It's just the magazine, and you got like the shoulder straps and everything. but it's just a magazine plate, and you don't have like the plate holders or anything, so it's just a carrier.
Okay, cool.
Because I'm about to do a review here coming up soon on their D3 sling, and I was totally against carrying slings even when I was in the military. I did not like carrying a sling.
That's one of them tactical dudes. I mean, just the folks that they got the 3-point, the 2-point, the 1-point, they swinging. And ain't fought nobody. This stuff ain't tried. It's just keyboard commando stuff. I got like, it's like an inner thing, man. I get like a poser alert, like, okay, that you ain't done nothing. Why are you up?
Well, my thing is, whenever I do anything, I try to carry as less as possible. I don't care about how it looks.
I know.
I'm all about functionality. Just like we had went to the range one day, and I've been wearing proper for years.
Oh, okay. Not
I started wearing proper when I was in the military because one thing about proper is they make their stuff reliable, but it's cost effective for the average citizen to go buy it. So you're not going to pay $110 for a pair of pants. You get a pair of pants for like $40.
Okay.
And still go out there, do what you need to do, and they'll, hold up.
Actually, I need some pants, so I'm glad you said that. I'm going shopping.
Oh yeah. I'm big on proper, man.
Good.
And the main reason was it was right before we went to Iraq, and I had bought a pair of proper pants, not even realizing they was proper pants. And what I used to do with my squad, because we used to always go out and do extra training on our own, so we utilized the paint part. So we used to go sign up for the paintball competitions and move as a squad. So I did that, and I say after about 8 times to the park, I think I finally ripped them because like one of the barricades like was peeled out, had like a rip in it, and I caught the barricade, but the way I came down, it ripped my pants. That's the only reason it ripped. And I was like, man, ever since then, I was all about proper.
Okay. I know you reviewed it. I didn't know whether you had actually used it longer than that. So that's cool, man.
Oh yeah.
So I'm putting it down. That goes on the paper.
Yeah. So if you go through my everyday wardrobe right now, I got like 4 or 5 pair of pants of proper.
Oh, okay. Deal.
You know what I'm saying?
A few years ago, a friend of mine started this thing called the United States Concealed Carry Association. It's an education, training, and self-defense insurance company now. It's for responsible gun owners. You can get complete peace of mind when you join USCCA today. If you carry a gun for self-defense, you need this. It's a whole package: education, training, and self-defense insurance. Call my friend. The number is 1-877-488-8353. And if you missed that, go to the link at blackmailthegun.com.
I was in the Philippines one time, and I had a need for a chest rig, and I had this. They make anything for you in the Philippines, but unfortunately, it don't last more than like a couple of hours. So I had this thing look really cool when they made it, and then after I wore it, that thing was all tangled up, became just a big knot of ballistic nylon. Didn't even make it back home.
Yeah, I remember back when I first put the name M-W Tactical out there, I went out and bought this vest and was like, yeah, I'm going to use this. And when I instruct classes, I'm going to have this on it.
Right.
And then it was one day, me and my buddy, we had went out to the range, and I pulled it out. And I was like, man, I don't need this. So I'm just going to stick to my regular way of thinking, just keeping it simple.
Yeah.
And move efficiently, So right now, what I'm gonna do is on my battle belt, I got one set up for my AR-15 magazine pouch, but I'm gonna put like 2 more pouches on it as well.
What's a good number of magazine pouches to have, do you think?
Honestly,
I know you want to carry all you can, but what's like real?
Yeah, I would honestly say, because like I said, in the military structure, we was always told to carry the minimum was 7.
That's a lot.
Yeah, because like I said, 30 rounds per magazine, that's 210 rounds. And then if you're looking at your squad makeup, so one squad got 2 saws. You got one 240 Bravo or an M60, that's the equivalent of a 240. And then everybody else has M4s, AR-15s, So, and it's a 9-man squad. So when you look at that firepower ratio, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like you're just pulling the trigger all the time.
Right.
You're working in sectors, and then when there's a lull in the fight, you start cross-loading, so everybody can kind of stay in the fight a little bit till you get your resupply.
That's the tactical part right there.
Yeah. So I would honestly say, like, right now, today, if anybody was going to take some form of a class or do some form of training, I would honestly say 3 to 4, 3 magazines on your person and then 1 in your weapon is sufficient.
Yeah, that's a good number.
Yeah.
Because unless you're competing.
Yeah, even when you're competing, you're not going to shoot that many rounds. You're not going to go through 4 magazines in a competition, like one stage.
That's true. They're going to slow you down.
Yeah. So like they throw all kind of twists in it to make you think about what you need to do, going to alter your time a little bit, So see, one stage I did on AR-15, I think I only shot maybe 20 rounds on one stage on the AR-15. It wasn't much,
Then it made you transition to something else?
Not this one stage. It was strictly AR-15.
Oh, okay.
And it was just like how you run around in USPSA match or IDPA match. It was the same thing. You was running around with the AR-15, but you had to like round the corner a certain way when you pull the trigger. You had to stay behind cover. And a lot of it was if you're right-handed, you had to transition to shooting with your left hand. So you had to come across to the other side of your body. And if you didn't practice that, it'll ding you on time. And of course, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, you're going to do what you feel is comfortable. And that's another penalty that's going to get you. Because if you don't do it properly, that's how they was gigging a lot of people.
This portion of the show is sponsored by CrossbreedHolsters.com. Crossbreed Holsters has gained national recognition as a maker of the best and most functional concealment holsters available on the market today. Each holster is handcrafted to ensure your firearm is safe and secure while carrying, combined with the best customer service in the industry. Visit CrossbreedHolsters.com.
An Israeli class that I took, them jokers would take 50 magazines and it's just run, shoot till the joker die. I mean, it was like, it's amazing, man, that class. I remember when I took it, my mouth was just wide open when it was over because I was like, you guys are serious. Why? It was like the bee swarm method. I mean, if it's any threat, everybody just goes. If the bad guy shoots like 2 of them, they don't care. It's like, but one of us, we go get you. It's like, wow. It's the tactic is swarm. That's it. That's their only method. And there's some bad dudes, man, for it, but it's a trip.
Yeah, there was a tactic we learned. Like how we would enter and clear a room, the way our method was, it's simple to understand and the concept is there. Because even if somebody gets hit coming into the door, the next person's just going to pick up their position. Okay. Because you got to get control of the situation before you render any medical aid. Right. But the way they entered and cleared the room, it was pretty unique. It was pretty unique. I could see it working, but the way it was taught, if I was to explain it, you'll be like, okay, it takes too much time. But actually it doesn't, because you don't enter the room. You stay outside of the room and you're using like a fan motion to sweep it off the muzzle. It's kind of weird to explain it, but if you was to actually see it, you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, that does make sense. But the element of surprise of you flooding the room and taking over is not there, because you're pretty much, like you said, you're using rounds.
Yeah, you ain't running that fast. It's like, hey, he's got shooting behind me. Hey, step back.
Yeah, but I like a lot of their military standards, I guess you can call it.
Yeah. Them some rough dudes, man. Them and some Koreans too that are pretty tough. The Rock Marines are no joke.
Yeah, I know. When I was over in Korea, they was doing a lot of displaying of their special forces, not so much their regular army. It was more their special forces.
Yeah.
And of course, by us being in the military, we're already sizing them up like,
I know, right?
Like, yeah, that joker might kick me, but I might go down. But I think all this is still stage theatrics right now. Let's go out there and show them what we can do. But when you watch those presentations that they used to put on, it was something that make you go like, okay, these guys, they're on top of it.
Yeah.
But any nation that has a special forces, they're doing something to have that name special in front of it.
That's true.
That's
true.
So I always said, don't sleep on it. Even when you watch, go on YouTube and look up Russian special forces and how they train.
Joke.
Them jokers shoot themselves.
Yeah, like, and they don't joke.
Yeah, with their armor on and everything. Their training is like literally hostage situation and shooting over the guy's shoulder next to the ear at 15 meters away. I'm like, yo, man, these guys, what if you slip and like hit me in the neck or something? Ain't no protection right there.
They lose people, man, in the training.
Yeah, man, but they all into it. Like, like the one video I was watching, it went on for about 10 minutes. And I was highly impressed because I'm a firm believer in you're going to fight how you train. And these guys are really fighting as they train.
Yeah, yeah.
And the guy shot the guy like 2 times in the chest. The first guy went down, and then they unloaded on the guy that was behind him. So, it was like they shot the person who they were supposed to be protecting to get him out the picture. Then, hey, we're gonna take the bad guy.
Yeah.
But I was highly impressed with what I seen.
Yeah, the Brits is pretty tough too. I remember seeing them guys. I saw them before, like the Friday before. We were at this pub and they were just drinking. I'm thinking, how these guys gonna be together in the morning? They are like going for it. They are sloppy drunk and they singing songs. And I'm thinking, nah, this is not the same crew. Man, the next day you couldn't tell. They was about business.
Man, did I tell you the story about my first unit after basic training? I never told you that. All right, man. So when you get Colorado was my first duty station, Fort Carson, Colorado Springs, and you already know Colorado, like because they call Denver the Mile High City. You're literally a mile high above sea level. And my first night staying there at reception, I woke up in the middle of the night and I thought I was having like a panic attack or something. I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
So I ran downstairs and I went to the desk and I was like, yo, I need a medic. I need somebody. I need to go to the hospital. And they're all laughing at me. And I'm like, I'm getting mad. And, now I'm starting to, can't breathe more. I'm like,
right.
Oh, I can't breathe. So this E5 was like, hey, look, just calm down, man. Calm down. You're okay. You just got to get used to the altitude. You're higher and it's less air. And I was like, what? He said, man, yeah, you're literally on top of a mountain right now. And I was like, but it hurts. It hurts.
I know, right?
Yeah, he was like, give it a couple hours. You'll be okay. So went back upstairs, got back into the bunk. And as I was laying there, I'm panicking, but then I relax and I panic again, drink a ton of water, panic again, relax. So it took me about a day and a half to get used to that, just breathing regular. But then when we started doing PT and running, oh man, man. I thought I can blaze a 2-mile run. Man, Colorado, they put a chokehold on me. So the whole reception process, you're in reception for about maybe at that time, it was maybe 4 days. So now when I get to my unit, first formation is PT formation in the morning, 6 o'clock formation. And first sergeant, he calls everybody, like all the new people come behind him. He called out this E6. He said, okay, you're in charge of it. Get a couple people to rally the herd because they had to break us in. So we would only run something like 100 yards, walk 200 yards, but it wasn't like you was running. We called it a fartlek run.
Right.
But you wasn't like putting 100% in. You were just getting up enough so you can get used to breathing, when your lungs get filled up. So this one guy, he just barely made it to formation, and the first sergeant was like, "Oh, he ain't gonna make it." Looking at his watch, he ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna make it. Right. And then next thing you know, he was telling everybody, "All right, get it together, get it together." Because, as soon as the first sergeant says fall in, after that, you're considered late. So these two guys came running across the parking lot, ran into the motor pool, and barely made it into formation. He was like, fall in. And they was right there at position of attention. And he was like, y'all barely made it. Now, here's the catch to the story. Both of these guys had on cowboy boots, tight pants, and a flannel shirt.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure they lost their hat running across the parking lot, but that was their wardrobe.
Okay.
First sergeant looked at them and said, I don't care what you're wearing. You're taking a PT test.
Ooh.
Right? So that was the PT test for the morning. Now, because I was new, I didn't have to do the PT test because now we're about to do our little fartlek run to get used to the altitude.
Mm-hmm.
So we're over there. We're doing our stretches. We're doing a couple push-ups, side straddle hops, sit-ups, loosening up. Then we take off. All right. And then we're stopping, doing a couple more sit-ups, a couple more push-ups. They're trying to kill the time, because, when you're new, you really have to take it back to the primary blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So next thing you know, we get back on the road, we start running, right? Stopping again, running, stopping again. Next thing you know, I hear like this horse steps galloping, just coming up. And they get louder and louder. Next thing you know, boy, buddy with those tight jeans and them cowboy boots passed me up. A couple seconds later, the other one came right behind them, and they was getting it. And if you're familiar with anybody out there with Fort Carson, we used to take our PT test on the banana belt. So we started at our motor pool, which was 112th Infantry, and we ran all the way right before the shopette. Like you're going out the B Street gate. That was 1 mile. You turn back around and go back to the entrance of the motor pool. And that was the PT test. Sure enough, jokers came back. They was getting it. All right. Didn't look like they was hurting or anything, man. So when we got back, I was like, hey, did they pass the PT test? It was one of the specialists. He told me, he was like, man, those guys right there, they always come in at like 10 or 11 minutes. These guys showed up sloppy drunk, cowboy boots, tight jeans, and still ran in like 10 to 11 minutes.
Wow.
That drove me right there. And I was like, if they can do it in cowboy boots, I can do it in tennis shoes. And that was my pushing measure. And then my first couple years, all my PT tests were like 10 minutes, because it was easier when I came back from Korea. Also, because, I left Colorado and went to Korea. Oh, yeah. Altitude was still high. And by the time I got back to Georgia.
Yeah, Kryptonian stuff.
Man, I was like Superman.
Yeah, right.
Like nobody bothered me. I used to run fast just to get it over with so I can rest more.
Yeah.
But that always surprised me, like how people were like that.
Have you ever heard of tracefree.com? Let me tell you about it. You see, you can't turn on the news without hearing about Google, Facebook, or Apple using your personal information for their benefit. It's everywhere. It's gotten so bad now that the government is requiring websites to notify you if and how they're using your data. But that still hasn't stopped the big tech folks from doing it. Well, there's a new company, tracefree.com, that's come up with a solution. It's a high-tech browser that lets you control what, if any, information you share with any website, and that includes Google. And as a first for the internet, the consumer now has their own privacy policy, which supersedes any website's privacy policy. I won't get too geeky here with you, but basically it's a browser that was built just for privacy and security. It runs in the cloud and not on your device. This makes it impossible for any site, including Google, to see or share a user's personal data. And here's the best part. You can't get a virus on your device. So whether you want to search Google, visit a website, or do online banking, you are always completely secure and private. Trace Free runs about $5 a month and is currently available for Windows operating systems.
use the code tracefree.com !BG. Usually it's a /. This time it's a question mark. And that BG, think a black gun. Yeah. I'll leave the links for you in the show notes. Check it out again. www.tracefree. That's TRACE free.com !BG. For your secure and private website browser. Something new. Just wanted to share it with you. So how fit should you be as a regular civilian these days? Pro-gun person. We don't talk about fitness and shooting that much.
Honestly, say an encounter. If an encounter lasts 5 minutes, you should be able to withstand within that 5 minutes. But you also got to remember, not only are you gonna have the stress of what can happen to you, but adrenaline is affecting you also. So if you don't know how to mitigate that, you can lose control of yourself and just start seeing things and just start it, because that's the problem when stress hits you. Once you start recollecting everything that took place, hey, I thought I saw somebody behind that tree. You know what I'm saying? It could have been a tree limb flapping or something like that. But how would you put a reasonable standard on it? I would honestly say, if you're into fitness, work out at least 3 times a day, and my recommendation is ride a bike, swim, or do some form of a physical activity like boxing, jiu-jitsu, anything where you're getting a functional workout. Just don't go and lift weights. Just don't run. Do something whereas your body is encompassing all activity movements, Yeah.
Is anybody that's actually talking about that other than anybody talking about fitness and shooting? Because we got a whole bunch of dudes. You see the range, man. They got the 40-year-old dad bod and
what you mean carrying the spare body? I mean the spare tire. Yeah. There's a couple people like a lot of times when I talk to people, like even when I went out there to the NRA convention, that's what everybody kept saying to me. It was like, wow, you look so fit. You look so fit. And I was like, well, I work out every day. So I only do it because I don't like how I feel, feeling sluggish, so I work out to feel a certain way. And at the same time, you fight sicknesses, you feel better, you think better, and then too, when the moment arises, I'm already somewhat prepared.
True that.
I'm not gonna let anything get the better of me because I'm unprepared. That's the best way to put it.
So somebody's just starting off, in January, everybody's trying to be fit and the gyms are packed. Right now, you probably can get in there. Ain't nobody there. What should people in our audience start thinking about? Because it ain't too late.
Well, first things first, look at your food intake. What are you eating? Right? If you got the discipline, take out all the bad stuff. Like a lot of people say they got this chart with W on it, foods that begin with W, but whatever you feel, like I'm a firm believer in eat whatever you're going to eat. Just understand once you go work out, you got to work twice as hard to burn off the bad stuff that you put into your body, and I'm guilty of eating the muffins with chocolate chips, eating the gummy bears. But it shows when I go to the gym to work out when I eat like that, because now I have to put in the extra effort to burn that stuff off. Drink a lot of water and juice. For instance, I don't drink alcohol. Only time I drink soda is when I get a headache, or if I'm traveling and I'm trying to stay awake, so I can get that caffeine rush in me.
What?
Yeah, that's the only time I drink soda. I don't drink alcohol. And like I said, I always keep a gallon jug with me. I used to get in trouble in the military for carrying a gallon jug.
That's a lot of water, dude.
Yeah, so I drink a gallon a day. I drink a gallon of water a day. But outside of that, sleep is important. So you have to be disciplined to get that sleep. Don't try to stay up all night and
binge watch.
Go the next day off of 3 hours of sleep. Even when you listen to pro athletes talk, they always make sure they get sufficient sleep.
That's true.
So and also when you eat your meals, it varies for me how I eat my meals. So if I'm getting ready for a competition, you might see me eat like 6 or 7 times a day, but I'm eating smaller portions, between a certain time period.
Well, that's how bodybuilders do.
Yeah, instead of eating like one big meal at breakfast, another big meal at lunch, and then a big meal at dinner. So for breakfast for me, I probably eat like 2 hard-boiled eggs and a banana. Down a bunch of water. And then probably about an hour or 2 after breakfast, I'll probably eat something like a granola bar and another banana. And then lunch, whatever I eat for lunch, but I eat more chicken and fish than I do red meat. And because I only eat red meat probably twice a month.
Man, you're killing me.
Yeah, but I have bad eating habits. Trust me on that. The only time I only eat very well is when I'm at home because I cook all my food. Okay. But now when I travel and hit a restaurant, I tell myself like, yeah, this one meal ain't gonna hurt. Next day, yeah, this second meal ain't gonna hurt. Third day, hey man, I gotta go find a gym or go find me a bike or something because I feel it coming.
I hear you. That's it right there.
So when people look at me, I'm not that guy that is very disciplined when it comes to eating. I am cautious about what I eat because, for instance, I'm training up now for a jiu-jitsu tournament that's coming up. So I have to regulate what I put into my body. And I know a lot of junk food is not going to get me there.
All right. Words to the wise. Anything we should cover for this week that we haven't just mumbled about or talked about this week?
There's a few things I wanted to cover. So you remember not too long ago, we was talking about first aid kits.
Yeah.
All right. I left it downstairs, but I'm gonna run and grab it here in a little bit. So if you want to cover that spice when I run and grab it. But what I want to emphasize is something you can carry in your vehicle, something you can carry when you just do other stuff, and then something else in your go bag. So like 3 different resources, or however you determine your 3 outlets for first aid gear. I have this little on-the-go first aid kit. It's an Equate. It cost me like $5 at Walmart.
Okay.
So this is something I'll just leave in my vehicle. So if I'm traveling or whatever, pull over, somebody get cut, you can help them out a little bit. Something else I got was this 167-piece emergency preparedness kit from Walmart. This costs like $15.
Okay.
So it has a lot of stuff in it. And of course they are advertising is good for home natural disasters, power outages, whatever. Even comes with like a little radio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like little radio that you wind up, don't need no batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then like a little poncho in there as well. So, something simple that can help you out in a matter of an emergency.
All right, cool. And you said you got all that from Walmart?
Yep, all from Walmart.
All right, good stuff. All right, so we're going to conclude with our conversation this week. And, man, thank you for just being there. Anything you want to pass on before we close?
Only thing I want to say is for anybody out there who's listening, if you feel up to it, please go to gofundme.com/M-W Tactical and help us out with the projects that we have for this campaign. Getting 3 deputy sheriffs into jiu-jitsu training for a year, starting a summer youth camp, and also getting people out to vote. So if you feel up to it, please go visit it and contribute what you can to help us out. Outside of that, when you go train, just make sure you stay safe, follow the 4 safety rules, make sure you have your eye pro on, and just have fun.
Sounds good, man. And that, of course, was the one and only Michael J. Woodland. And I'm your friend and brother from another mother, Ken Blanchard, the black man with a gun. And just in case nobody has told you this today, I love you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Remember, no one is useless in this world that lightens the burden of it for anyone else. Until next time, Shalom, baby.